Now, this is also where some of the controversy in the breed comes in, because many years ago, a breeder from Enchanted Hill Nigerian dwarf goats, Ed Kinzer, bought or had born into his herd. I believe he bought him what was then referred to as a peacock buck. He was the opposite of a buckskin. He had white on the front end and dark on the back end. And that proved to be a pretty dominant color pattern and a very popular one. It also happens to be the same color pattern as you'd find in alpine goats, which is really not a big surprise considering the Nigerians were outcrossed with alpines in their development. But we didn't see it anywhere else in the country except in that one herd. And then all of a sudden, it started showing up from this other breeder who is no longer with us. But there has been some concern about whether that truly came from an enchanted hill goat, or whether that was a result of a crossbred with a full-size goat. We'll never know. There was an attempt to find out whether there was crossbreeding going on, but it didn't go anywhere, despite the request of 37 breeders. We also have the color of Cou Blanc or Cou Clair, that's peacock. Cou Noir is black going up to the head. So that is a very rare one. That we don't know where that came from. It is something found in the alpine, but I don't know as we've been able to trace down where it was entered into the gene pool of the Nigerian dwarf goat. What's really cool about working with such a small gene pool to start is we can actually go back and trace to see where was the first buckskin. Well, that was Goodwood, Kenya. Where was the first red? Where was the first gray? When did we get away from agouti? Agouti is another name for roan. Nigerian Dwarf Goat Association had a bias for a long time against agouti. I think that's passed now. It's no longer a bias in AGS or ADGA. All right. So when we get into some of these more exotic colorations, I do worry about whether or not we're looking at purebred animals. Looking back, I'm not doubting the people that have the animals now. I'm talking about some of the ethics of breeders in the past. We also have moon spots. And moon spots have become very popular. Some people love them. I love the look of moon spots, but I'm not going to breed an animal just because they've got moon spots. And I think people who do breed animals just because they've got moon spots means that they're putting the emphasis on the wrong thing. And that's where you have to choose what ethics you're going to support. I have a doe. Her name is Alchemy. She's all black, but she has one gold moon spot. I have another doe who's also all black with one bronze moon spot. Those two does are really not related, but I know that they both will throw or have the potential to throw moon spots. They haven't done it very much. That's fine with me. But spotting can get in the way. I had a doe whose name was Harlequin, who was all white except she had one black spot in the middle of her back. Then she had a black head and she had black legs. It's a color pattern called Schwartzel. It's not very common anymore. But that black spot made it look like she was dippy in the chine. She really wasn't. She had a long, very strong top line, but that black spot was an optical illusion. So if you're dealing with colorations and preferring spots over things, you may be hurting yourself when it comes to the show ring, if that's what you care about. And the color of a goat has nothing at all to do. There's been no correlation that an animal of any one particular color pattern is going to milk better than another one of a different color pattern. So if you have Nigerians for milk, the color is the icing on the cake. All right? So what is a moon spot? It's usually a different shade than found elsewhere on the goat. So a white spot that shows up is not a moon spot. because that just means that there's white on the goat. But if you've got a doe who's red and all of a sudden she's got a spot of gray and a spot of black and a spot of brown, those are moon spots. And they may come and go. They may grow, they may shrink, they may disappear. Those come from ancient lineage, which is like, wow, a whole 40 years ago with the Nigerian. But those come from crosses that were done way long time ago, maybe even all the way back to Africa when they were crossed with other goats, with Nubians.